Back in June of 2021, we shot a video that talked about the rapid price increases in the steel market and also the steel shortage. So now here we are in October of 2021, 4 months later, and we thought it'd be time to update everybody on what's going to happen in the early to middle part of 2022. I'm Paul Rubio, Vice President of Western States Metal Roofing, and welcome to the Metal Roofing Learning Channel.
This is the Metal Roofing Learning Channel, brought to you by Western States Metal Roofing, where you can find a variety of colors and finishes, all while saving by buying factory direct.
Hi, I'm here with Mark Fills, the purchasing agent of Western States Metal Roofing, and back in June of 2021, we gave you an update to the steel shortage and the rapid price escalation. So now we're back, and it's October of 2021, and what we'd like to do is we'd like to update you to the quickly changing conditions in this market. So Mark, from the last time we talked in June of 2021 to now in October, and through the beginning of 2022, what has changed in the steel market?
The availability of steel is getting to be, I'm starting to get more spot buys. The steel is available out there to an extent, still not like it was before, but I'm able to actually, get quotes, get pricing, and being able to order steel. And the pricing has started to level off a little bit. Starting to see a month to month where we're not seeing the increases like we did back when we did the original interview.
So let's stick with the pricing for right now. When you say the pricing is leveling off, do you mean that it's just going up at a much slower rate, or it really seems to have stabilized from about now through the beginning of next year?
It's gone up. Looking at some of the indexes have gone up just a little bit. Some have stayed flat, or actually even gone down just a little bit. I'm talking like a penny a pound week to week on the index. Nothing, no big changes in the pricing. Going into the future, seeing a little bit of softening on the price, but what the reason for that is, I mean, there's probably 10 different reasons people could give as to their opinion as to why that's happening right now.
When you say you're looking into the future, what's the furthest out that you've received some quotes for steel?
So right now we're looking at March, April for import.
Okay, so definitely through the end of the first quarter we're stabilized. What are your thoughts on what's going to happen in the second quarter of 2022? Do you see things falling off a cliff for pricing, or do you see things probably staying pretty similar?
The way the market is right now and the forecasted market for that time frame, I would say it's going to stay pretty flat. There might be a little bit of softening, but I don't see it dropping off because the supply there's still a constraint on supply. I mean, not just in the U.S., but across the world. There's so many different events going on that I believe on the supply side is going to hold the price. It's going to stay pretty close to where it is. He said you might see a little bit of drop going in, which a lot of people consider kind of normal going into the first quarter. Getting into the second quarter, sometimes you'll start to see an increase. But with the supply, I think that's going to be the thing that keeps us where we are.
So you're talking about the supply now, and you talked earlier in the video that things are improving some. How much are they improving? Are we still on allocation? Are most other people in the metal industry still under allocation? And if it's improved, by how much?
Well, we are under allocation, so we're in the sense that we can't just buy whatever we want. We have to go to them and say, hey, here's what we're looking for, and they'll say yay or nay, or they'll cut us back a little bit. So, and in that sense, we are on allocation. I can't. And before all this started, if we go back to the beginning, it was here's how much I want, and here's what I needed, and they were able to fulfill those orders, based on our needs. And then as we saw the supply become harder and harder to get, then it went to the mills, and they were like, we had several months where we were offered nothing by some of the mills. And now we're getting to the point where I'm getting more yeses than nos. So I'm starting to see a little, a better availability of the steel for us.
So it's fair to say that we're going to still have a tight supply through about the end of 2021, and then into 2022, it'll progressively get better. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say by the end of the second quarter, for one, we'll have a much better idea of where the market is going. With all there's just so many factors out there affecting it right now that we don't know what's going to happen. From the vehicles and the chip issue, and the amount of steel going to the automotive industry, and there's just so many different factors. But I think a lot of that's gonna play out I would say by the end of the second quarter. We'll have a really good idea. We'll see what the supply, is actually, how much it's softened and how much it hasn't softened. So we'll have a much better idea by the second. But as far as pricing goes right now, it's staying pretty flat. It's pretty stable. So what we're looking at, if we're ordering right now for the stuff that we're ordering coming in March, April, we're already there as far as, that's the price of what people are bringing it in at. So the cost is not going to really change between now and then.
Well, I'm hearing a lot about delays. Even if supply loosens up, like it sounds like we're heading towards that, right. Between the shipping delays you've talked about, between the additional delays painting coil, either way, it's going to be a constraint on supply with all these delays, right? Or not so much?
Yeah, especially if you're getting into custom jobs, large jobs, stuff like that, you're not going to have anything available right away to paint. Those are going to be your hardest ones. Where us, we're stocking our standard color, so we have material available that kind of helps with the paint supply. So we kind of, we have the benefit of that there. But they're like, when you start adding it all up, adding the, can you get the steel? And if it softens up, let's say you do get the steel, how soon can you get it here? Not only are the ports having issues, you have the issues with the freight, the cost of getting container shipped has gone up significantly. You have the trucking issue is forecasted to continue to get worse as far as being able to get trucks. There's just so many different factors that play into the supply side of it. It's really until we get a little bit farther along, it's really hard to forecast exactly how it's going to be. But when you look at what's happening right now, there's still going to be a constraint on getting steel and getting it painted and delivered.
Okay. So back in June, we recommended that if you had a job that you knew was going to happen, we recommended you pre-purchase your steel because, number one, it would be cheaper, absolutely, back then, and number two, who knew if it was going to be available at the time of your job. Sounds like pre-purchasing your steel is still a good idea, not so much from the price side. Doesn't seem like you're going to save any money. Also doesn't seem like you're going to lose any money. But from a supply side, do you still think that's as important as it was a few months back?
Yeah, it is maybe not quite as important only because of the price. If you had bought when we talked the first time, you would have saved a substantial amount of money. But like you said, what you're looking at right now is if you have a job and let's say you're forecasting it to start in January, February, you get the order in now, then there's not going to be any holdup on the job. if you wait until that time, just before the job, there's no guarantee that you'll be able to start your job on time.
So it's still a crapshoot on the supply side.
Right. In the time frame. I mean, yeah, there's a really good chance that you're going to be able to get your steel, you're going to be able to get it painted. It's just if you want to start your job January 1st, that might not happen if you don't pre-buy. You might have to wait till February 1st.
Mark, now that people have had a chance to order offshore steel and that's starting to cycle in, do you think that the amount of offshore steel that's coming in is going to kind of alleviate either both the supply and the pricing side of things?
I think initially, yeah, I think it's going to play a role in beefing up the supply a little bit. When you bring in the imports, you have the issue of the price difference between the import and the domestic. And typically your import, they don't want to lower the price too much because then they face issues with, we call it anti-dumping so their price can't go down too far below domestic, or there will be repercussions like we had with China's anti-dumping and the 230 Section 232 that went into place.
You can find step-by-step installation videos and homeowner guides on our channel. And don't forget to show your support by hitting the like button and subscribe. Want to learn more? Check out these videos.